The Pate State Speaker Series in Orlando at Central Florida, first time ever. Head coach Gus Malzahn welcoming us in. I do this thing sometimes where I do this mental exercise and I pretend I just froze myself 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So if I froze myself 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and I thawed out this morning and showed up here, I'd look and I'd say, what in the world are you doing at Central Florida? How'd this happen?
Yeah, I tell you what, first of all, I love this place. 10 years ago, obviously, it was at Auburn. We had a great experience. This was a place that I always looked at from the outside, that if the right guy would get here and stay here and not look at it as a stepping stone, this could be one of the best jobs in college football. Now that I've been here for 3 years, and especially with the changing landscape of college football, the NIL, the one-time training, all that stuff, it really is set up for success. And I love it here. And this place is really, I tell people, it's a gold mine. And so I'm real blessed to be here.
I've always contended that you sort of hit that college football lottery, that you got to do it the high school way, and then you got to coordinate a team that wins a national championship, then you end up being a head coach there. And so you experience life in the SEC.
Yeah.
And then that 2017 year, I think it was, is the most tumultuous roller coaster, boom, 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 boom I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then it goes the way it does at Auburn, and you land at a program that 2 seconds after you get here, Power 4 level, Big 12, and I've always thought the things you said are true about this place, but now even more so because of the landscape.
Yeah, and when I got here, I mean, I felt pretty certain we were going to be Power 5, Power 4 now, but I just didn't know what a conference, and obviously we're in the Big 12 now, and that's been a game changer. We recruited really well even before that, but now I think we're in the top 15 of this class. Last year we had the best class in the history of the school, so things are really trending, in the right direction. But to go back to what you were saying, being a former high school coach, I really feel like that gives me an advantage in college with relationships and everything that goes with it. And, I've been real blessed. You said being a coordinator, won a national championship, got a chance to coach Cam Newton, probably, in my opinion, the best player to ever play college. And then everywhere I've been, I've just been real blessed to be in the right place at the right time, and this situation is real similar.
Now, the Cam Newton year, we don't need to revisit. Everyone remembers that. Everyone remembers what he accomplished. And he's got a statue on a campus. He wasn't even at a full calendar year. That's how good a year it was. And then we get down here, and you just wrapped up spring ball. And you went and got KJ Jefferson. You just went through a spring with him. And it's kind of like that whole Sandhill Crane thing of if I spot one, I think, oh, that's kind of interesting. Well, I spot you with him, and I'm not going to do the comparison thing. But would you at least agree with me that's the closest thing you've had to Cam Newton?
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities, there's no doubt. And, I got a chance to recruit him coming out of high school. Same year we took Bo Nix, so we knew each other. And then when he went in the portal, I mean, that's the guy we had circled. Like, we feel like he's the perfect fit for our offense with his skill set. And he had a really good spring. I mean, we were learning each other as we went. He was learning the offense, but man, he is really, a dynamic passer down the field. I mean, he's Arkansas's all-time leading passer. People don't really look at it that way, but also, his running aspect and his leadership, and so we're real pleased to have him.
There's an interesting dynamic sometimes when some guys have been at a job and then they move on. They never want to speak of the place again. They never go to the place again. That's not really you with Auburn.
No.
Like, you guys still love the Auburn area and love the Auburn folks, don't you?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I love Auburn, and we had a great experience there. For 11 or 12 years, won a national championship. Should have won 2. My daughter's graduated from there. My 4 nieces graduated from there. My daughter still lives in Auburn. So, it was a great experience for us, and we root for them. And it's a real positive.
So, 2024 moving forward, this place can be a whole lot different than it had been before, just the evolving landscape. But it only matters if everyone takes it seriously. So when you're in the building here, you see designs for new buildings, and you see recruiting rankings looking way different than they have looked, and you see a staff that's a little bit more robust than it was in the past. So what are some of the things when you do get gold mine handed to you that you have to make sure you hit in terms of making sure, hey, we got to scale all of this proportionately?
It starts with our AD, Terry Mahajer. His vision, and he wants to win. He wants to win championships, and our president the same way. So we're aligned, and I think that's real important in college football. And like you said, everything's set. I mean, we're going to open up a new facility here in the next year and a half, 2 years. I think that's great. We're in the Big 12, which that's a game changer for us. You just talked about the recruiting. we have the staff. We think we have a staff that has a chance to win championships too. So everything's aligned. It feels really good right now. We just got done with spring. Now, a big factor is getting through the portal. I think everybody knows that. I think we're in pretty good shape. We just got to get through that. But I really like our roster, and I like our chances.
So you got the horses that you're going to go to war with this fall, but you also got your younger classes, sort of your mini horses out there. What did you see from a lot of your young guys in the spring?
Yeah, I'll say this. You go through spring. The majority of our class was here. We didn't miss on anybody. I think that's real important. And so we knew we had a good chance to have some really good players. You're going to see a lot of those freshmen help us win on Saturdays.
So, I'm always interested when a guy gets further into his career. You've obviously had a chance to try things a few different ways, and I'm sure there are parts of your core philosophy that have never changed. Yeah. But maybe just outside the core, maybe on the things that have been negotiable, what would you say looks most different about your coaching philosophy or style today relative to when you first got a shot?
Yeah, I really think the key to being successful head coaches now is being able to adapt more than ever the last year and a half with the changes in college football and NIL and everything that goes with that. The head coaching job has changed. It's almost like you're a GM/head coach. And so I'm old school, okay, there's no doubt about that, but I'm at a school that is a young school that is used to being cutting edge with a lot of different things. So it helps me adapt with everything. So that's probably the biggest thing. These guys here, they've kind of helped me let my hair down at times and got me out of my comfort zone. At Auburn, you're in that, or at least I was in that box and kind of kept it, straight ahead. But it's been real refreshing to be here. And but I think more than anything, go back to your question, is just being able to adapt to the changes in college football.
Now that's what's wild. So I was in Columbus when you were at Auburn. So I'm working local news there. I'm at some of those press conferences. I'm in the post game, and it wasn't like you were some curmudgeon who was closed off to the world, but you did this. It was very much this. Yeah. And so then, again, if I did the whole freeze thing and then I show up today, I got you joking with the media, and you got games going on in the middle of the spring game. It's like loose, but there's still the same goal at the end of the day.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I'm the same coach. You go out there, between the lines, it's the same deal. But, like I said, adapting, it's a different situation. And you learn as you go, too, with the different experiences. But it's really been a good transition being here.
So when we were in Columbus, a lot of us in the newsroom over there, when you were at Auburn, we would emulate some of the stuff you did. Because some folks in the newsroom were diehard football fans. Right. But there was this group that sort of sat over in the corner. They knew nothing about it. So we would walk around, and we would cover our mouths sometimes. And you do this, you can say whatever you want to. That's right. And so they didn't get it. We all knew we were just doing the whole Malzahn play calling thing. Do you ever find yourself talking like this in your personal life?
Not very much. No. No. When you're at a place like Auburn, and Alabama is your rival, and 365 days, and I'm a little anal and a little worried about.
But there's a reason for it.
Oh yeah, there's a reason. You go through that experience, there's a reason. But at the same time, I mean, with everything stealing signals, and you'll have binoculars on the coach's mouth, so it's just kind of a natural deal. I still do it, especially if it's an important play call and all that. You're just doing everything you can to try to keep the integrity, of calling plays and making decisions during the game. And I'm not the only one in college football that does that. I'm just pretty good at it.
Yeah, you were the only head coach at Auburn when I was in local news 45 minutes away. Yeah. Do you ever look around and see some of the idiosyncrasies of other guys and say, oh, I know there's a reason why they do this way. I wonder why because that's pretty easy to figure out. Some of the other stuff may be a little more layered.
Yeah, I mean, I think each coach is different. This college football, it's there's a lot of pressures that go with it, and sometimes it brings out some unique things in coaches, but most coaches can relate, to each other.
So I don't know if you'll ever write a book. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. It'll be lucrative if you do it. Yeah. So let's just say, without you giving specifics, that you had 100% truth serum injected into you. Yeah. And you wrote a 15-chapter book, and it was 100% what you've experienced, nothing's left out. Yeah. How many copies of that thing would sell?
It'd probably be a good read. It would be interesting, and it'd be. It's been a wild ride. Like I said before, man. I'm living a dream. I'm a high school coach that, had really good players in. Everywhere I've been, I've had, good players, coached some of the best players to ever play college football. But yeah, it would probably sell quite a few.
Now, you're a Northwest Arkansas guy, and you're no stranger to that territory.
Right.
To my knowledge, you've never coached basketball.
But no, I did.
Wait, no, hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was like an assistant senior girls basketball coach at Shiloh.
How were you guys? How were you girls?
Well, I wasn't very good, but I tried to help. I did coach 7th grade basketball 1 year at Shiloh, but I wasn't very good.
So it wasn't your thing?
It wasn't my thing.
Ultimately, you decided to go the football route?
I was a lot better at football.
So they just made a pretty big splash up in that corner of the state in basketball.
Yeah.
Now, you know that place.
Yeah.
You know those families who are involved.
Yeah.
You observed it from a distance. What was that like to see?
Well, I mean, some of my best friends in the world are in Northwest Arkansas and in Arkansas, and my parents still live in Fort Smith, so they're all excited.
Yeah.
They're all excited. It's the big talk and all that, so it's really neat, to hear their excitement.
So in college football, I mean, one of the things I love about it, I'm sure one of the things you appreciate about it is you got programs that have been around over a century. And you got a lot of tradition. Yeah. You were at Auburn as one of those.
Yeah.
And so, you got stadiums named after guys, and you got statues that are older than you are alive.
Yeah.
But then you talked about how this program's pretty young.
Yeah.
Especially in the modern iteration of it.
Yeah.
Your answer is going to be no. So I guess it's more a statement.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realize you actually are at a place where you have a chance to one day be remembered as sort of one of the faces of a program that, for all we know, could go on and doing huge things in a Power 5 conference.
Yeah, that's a really neat feeling. The average age of our alumni is either 36 or 37.
That's pretty wild stat.
And everything is like new. And so it really is exciting as far as the future. Here in Orlando, the best brands in the world are here in Orlando, or some of them. And there's no NFL team. Like, everything is set up. We're right in the middle of the state. It's great for recruiting. We got a young fan base, real energetic. Social media, I would probably put our social media up against any in the country. And I think you'll see more and more, that'll be more important to the NIL and everything that goes with it. So, the sky's the limit for this place, and it feels really neat to be the head coach here.
So a lot of coaches, when they land a commit, when something big's coming for the program, they tweet out the emoji.
Yeah.
Okay, the emoji clearly is yesterday's news down here.
Yeah.
You go full into nature, like you go the Sandhill Crane route. And so Gelby, our camera guy here, he saw one this morning when he pulled in.
Yeah.
I mean, if I see that on your feed, what does it mean?
Yeah, well, it means around here that good things are coming. I get here, I've never lived in Florida before, and I walk outside and there's birds by my truck, and so it took me a little bit to get used to it. But yeah, that's kind of Eric Del Salvo. He's kind of our social media guru, so he kind of helped come up with that. And our fan base knows that, if you see one of those, there's fixing to be about good news.
Now, you're born to wear a whistle around your neck, and you probably feel the most at home out on a practice field or on a sideline. Yeah. But a lot of the stuff you're talking about that surrounds the game is an integral part of ultimately attracting what you want to attract. Right. How long did it take you to sort of come around on not just tolerating but embracing that stuff? Yeah,
this place has helped with that. Obviously, Eric, like I said, S.J. Tui, which was my chief of staff, for 2 years. Now he runs our collective. Between those two guys, they've helped kind of get me out of my comfort zone. They're very good with the social media aspect. So, when you get a little older, you need help. And so those guys have really helped me with that. We've got this whole coach-to-player communication thing that's coming this year, and so you're an offensive guy. Yeah. I'm going to blindly assume you're a fan of it. What have you thought about it in practice? No, I think it's been great. I think it's going to be really good. Anytime you communicate with your quarterback especially, and give him even reminders of what happened on the last play or the last time we had this play, I think it's been a long time coming, and I think it'll be good for everyone. I'll call it a concern. You can call it a point of interest, whatever you want to call it. A lot's changing in the game right now. You may not be able to control it. You got to live within it right now. Right. And I would say live within the confines, but I'm not sure there are confines to some of this. What's it been like sort of being at the epicenter of a major university when you don't even know what the rules are going to be like year to year? Yeah, and right now I'm not sure what the rules are. I mean, I don't know if anybody. I mean, really, it's a free for all, and that's been probably the biggest challenge, not just for me but all coaches. I think my buddies that are coaches other places, we're all going through the same thing. The tough part is that player coach relationship. It's just different than it was even a couple of years ago with everything NIL and everything that goes with it. But like I said earlier, it's about adapting, and and that's really what I'm trying to do, and I think that's what most coaches around the country are trying to do.
How do you walk the line of adapting and just suck it up and this is what it is, but also you're a head coach. You've been at this a long time. Right. Your voice in a logical world would be one that is listened to. Yeah. And so how do you walk the fine line of I'm going to grit my teeth and bear it, but also I got to point this stuff out to the proper channels when something needs to be pointed out without it sounding like excuse making? Yeah,
I think for me and my player, I think it's just that relationship, honesty, talk honesty with integrity, with everything, and just be up front with what's going on. But I think big picture, with rules and all that, I mean, like I'm a big rule guy. I'm a rule follower, process and all that. That's probably been the biggest challenge for me, and it's a free-for-all. You got other coaches that are actively recruiting your players and doing Zooms and all this other stuff, and but it's about relationships. And like I said, it helps me being a former high school coach. I'm a big relationship with my players, and so I think that's one of the things that we have as an advantage for us.
When a new head coach hits you up for advice, maybe a guy you've coached with before that's getting a shot, advice you would give them in 2024 probably sounds a little different than 2014. What does it sound like today?
It's completely different. And like I've got some head coaches that are kind of my guys, they're a little younger. And to be honest with you, it's a two-way street. A lot of times young guys can give an old guy advice too. So in the old days, it was really the older guy giving the younger guy advice, with wisdom and everything. We still do that. But with this new age of college football, a lot of my guys that are quite a bit younger, and I'll call them, asking them advice on different things, how to handle things. So, I just think, I think it's just a unique time right now.
Do you get the sense that certainly there are roles in college football now that weren't around a few years ago? The role of a general manager. That's not something we ever talked about in 2015.
No. And it's much needed.
Yeah.
It's much needed, and we have a little bit of that, but a lot of times you find yourself as a head coach in that role too. But you will see more and more that position will be more and more important. As long as the trajectory of college football stays the same, that job will be more and more important. And I know some guys already have that piece of the puzzle in place.
In the NFL, a lot of times I'll see headlines where the general manager has relieved a head coach of his duties. Yeah. Now, that's not something we've ever seen here. It's the AD that does that. Right. But you just mentioned, and I agree with you, the role of general manager is kind of elevating. That's not going away anytime soon. I openly wonder, and you can speculate on this as well if you want to, is there a world down the road where sort of the balance of power within athletic departments shift over case to case to that GM role?
Yeah, I would be shocked. I mean, I really would. I think the head coach, the AD, will always have that role, as far as that goes. But, like I said earlier, like the role of a head coach has changed drastically in the last year and a half. Even if they have a general manager, they're still steering the boat and making sure everything is in order. It's just more of a protection for them with the relationship with the players, which is really the most important thing, that goes with that.
Now, you were telling me about the schedule earlier when we were talking before we went on, something I didn't realize, which is you guys have how many common opponents from last year?
Yeah, so we went in the Big 12 last year, and it was a real good learning experience for us. I mean, there was a lot of really good teams. In the old, everybody thought, it's 7-on-7 Big 12. No, it was anything but that. It was a lot of 12 personnel hit you in the mouth, and it was a real physical conference. So this is year 2. So you think, you're getting used to it. Well, we added 4 teams out west. We only played 2 common opponents from last year. So it's almost like we're also getting in another conference. So that's a little bit different. The good thing is we have more home games. We traveled more than any team in college football last year. We had 6 real road games, and it wore on us, but I like our schedule a lot better this year.
There are people, I'm from Harris County, Georgia. There are people in Harris County who have never boarded an airplane in their life. who would listen to you and say, well, you get to fly wherever you're going. What's the big deal? Explain to folks who have never competed traveling over 1,000 miles. Most of your road games are at least 1,000 miles. What toll that takes going and coming?
Yeah, if you're in a plane 3 hours or more, it's going to take a toll. And you got big guys and little seats and everything that goes with it. But what you don't think about is you have a night game, and you get done and you board a plane at 12 and you fly 4 hours, you get here at 4 o'clock and you don't get into your bed until 5:30. Oh, and then you got to prepare for the next day. You don't have practice, you have meetings and everything that goes with it. And it's just one of those things that's hard for your body to completely catch up if you do that enough.
All right, so we are, by my count, I think 19 Saturdays away from the start of the season. You guys just wrapped up spring ball. Couple of biggest takeaways from there and a couple of things you have circled as fall camps sort of on the horizon.
Well, this portal, you know, we've got to get through the portal, trying to keep our top players. I think that is a goal. Then you got to, if you lose people, or add to, and then you get prepared for the summer. And then the summer, you know what your team, you know who's on it and all that. You get a great plan for that. And then you get ready for fall camp. So you just kind of take it step by step. But, you know, we're really excited about our schedule. We're really excited about this team. You know, we have a chance.
Gus Malzahn, we appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.